Hi everybody, my name's Brittany and I started studying the Bible in April of 2017. When I started, I knew nothing about it. It was very overwhelming, it was stressful, it was a lot to take in. So I wanted to start teaching to people just starting out a basic overview of the Bible, and no details or anything like that, just getting people started knowing where things are. So this week we are going to be looking into the death of Jesus, starting the death of Jesus. Really more the arresting of Jesus, I guess. So several times Jesus predicts his own death. You can find it in Matthew chapter 16 verse 13, Mark chapter 8 verse 31, chapter 9 verse 30, chapter 10 verse 32, Luke chapter 9 verse 21, chapter 9 verse 44, chapter 18 verse 31, and in John chapter 12 verse 20. So the officials had always tried everything to arrest Jesus, but it ended up as one of his apostles that went behind his back, and most recognize the name Judas Iscariot. He went behind Jesus' back, went to the officials, and said that he would turn him in for 30 pieces of silver, which wasn't a lot back then. It was not enough to make him rich or anything like that. There was a lot more going on than just payment and just money. Judas, little known fact, Judas later does hang himself after Jesus' death because of what he did. So days later, Judas met Jesus with a big mob. They had fire, like the torches and the spears and everything, and Jesus is like, well, I've been living among you and going to church with you. Why are you meeting me with a big violent mob? You could have had me a long time ago. But then Judas goes up to Jesus and gives the mob the signal that this is the man that they think, and gives him a kiss. So they attack and arrest him. They take him to the Sanhedrin, which were rabbis that were the Jewish court system. Excuse me for just a second, sorry. So the Sanhedrin tried to find false evidence against Jesus, to be able to arrest him and hopefully kill him. And you can find that in Matthew 26:59. Then two men came forward and said that Jesus had said that he would destroy the temple and then raise it again in 3 days. And that was a misquote. If you turn with me to John 2, chapter 2, verse 18 and 19, we can see. The Jews then responded to him being Jesus, what sign can you show us to prove your authority to do all this? This being the miracles. Jesus answered them, destroy this temple and I will raise it again in 3 days. They replied, it has taken 46 years to build this temple. So he wasn't saying that he was going to destroy the temple. He was saying if somebody destroyed the temple, that he could raise it in 3 days. Because he's Jesus, he can do whatever he wants. Then they accused him of that with the blasphemy, saying that he was God's son. And so they went to the Roman governor with that, whose name was Pilate. Pilate really saw no reason to why Jesus should be killed. He was just he was following what the people wanted, but he acted like he didn't have a say-so in it, which he could have. So everybody was begging for him to be crucified. The people were chanting, crucify him. And back then, at Passover, there was a tradition where the governor could release one prisoner back into their lives, and it was either Jesus or it was this man Barabbas, who was a murderer, a well-known murderer, and they chanted to give them Barabbas. So Jesus was put back into prison. He was beaten. He was, before he got put on the cross, he was beaten severely so that his muscles were showing in his back from the whips and all kinds of things like that. But that's next week. Next week is the crucifixion and resurrection, which will be a fun week. I am a healer, a big medical person, so I really studied hard everything that goes in to crucifixion and what happens to the body, not only with Jesus, but with everybody that was crucified. So that'll be a fun week next week. Hopefully I will feel better. And if you want to look over what we talked about today, you can check out Matthew chapter 16 and 17 and 26, Mark chapter 14, Luke chapter 22, and John chapter 18. Hope you guys have a great week. God bless.